Episode 1. The Lost Little Star. Far above the twinkling stars, where planets glow like lanterns in the night, lived a little squirrel named Squeaky. One evening, he spotted something unusual. A trail of golden stardust drifting across the sky. Curious and brave, he zipped after the trail with a whoosh. Past the moon, Saturn's glowing rings, and sleepy comets snoring as they drifted by. At the end of the trail, Squeaky found a lost little star. It flickered softly, its light dimming. "Don't worry, I'll help you," said Squeaky. He tucked the star safely into his pouch, and together they floated through the galaxy. They reached a tall, glowing constellation ladder. "Here we are," said Squeaky. "Climb back to your family." The star twinkled brighter and brighter as it reached its place in the sky. "Thank you, Squeaky," it whispered, sending a tiny sparkle onto his nose. Squeaky giggled, waved goodbye, and floated back to his pod. Curled up in his blanket, he whispered with a yawn, "What a bright and squeaky adventure." And with that, Squeaky drifted into a peaceful sleep, while the little star shone above, watching over him all through the night. Episode 2. The Cosmic Acorn Hunt. Far across the galaxy, in his cozy acorn-shaped pod, Squeaky the space squirrel stretched and rubbed his sleepy eyes. His tummy gave a tiny grumble. "Oh no," whispered Squeaky. "I'm all out of space nuts." So, with a determined wiggle of his tail, he strapped on his rocket pack and zipped off on a brand new adventure, the Cosmic Acorn Hunt. He soared into the Rainbow Nebula, where clouds swirled in colors of pink, blue, and gold. Among the glittering mist, tiny glowing acorns floated. Squeaky reached out to grab one, but poof! The acorn dissolved into sparkling dust. Squeaky giggled. Not real acorns, just Star Treks. Next, he zipped towards Saturn's shimmering rings. From a distance, the sparkly shapes looked just like acorns. "At last," cried Squeaky. But as he touched one, it chimed like a bell, tingling. They weren't acorns at all, they were crystal chimes, singing softly in space. Squeaky sighed and drifted onward. Just when he thought he might never find a snack, he floated into a field of asteroids. To his surprise, one asteroid had trees growing right on it. Their branches sparkled with glowing silver acorns, shimmering in the starlight. "Hooray!" cheered Squeaky. He filled his pouch until it bulged. But then he paused, looking at the shiny pile. "These are too many for just me." So he called out to his friends, the moon mice, the comet owls, and even the little star he had helped before. One by one, they gathered for a shining feast. They nibbled and laughed together, sharing stories as the galaxy twinkled around them. The silver acorns glowed brighter with every happy bite. Full and happy, Squeaky returned to his acorn pod. He curled into his blanket and whispered with a smile, "Every adventure tastes better when shared." And with that, Squeaky drifted into another peaceful sleep, dreaming of tomorrow's adventures among the stars. Episode 3. The Singing Comet. One evening, as Squeaky the squirrel floated in his cozy space pod, he noticed something unusual. The galaxy was quiet to quiet. Normally, a friendly comet zoomed by every night, leaving a glowing trail and singing soft lullabies that echoed through the stars. But tonight, silence. Squeaky tilted his helmet. "That's strange. Where's the comet song?" He strapped on his rocket pack and whooshed off to find out. Before long, he spotted the comet drifting slowly, its glowing tail dimmer than usual. The comet looked sad. "Hello, comet," called Squeaky. "Why aren't you singing tonight?" The comet sighed, sending out a puff of stardust. "I've lost my whistle stone. Without it, I can't make music." Squeaky's tail twitched. "Don't worry, I'll help you find it." They searched high and low across the galaxy. They peeked inside shimmering asteroid caves, sifted through Saturn's sparkly rings, and even asked a passing space whale if it had seen the whistle stone. But no luck. Just as Squeaky was about to yawn, he noticed something twinkling at the edge of a sleepy cloud of cosmic dust. He zipped over and found a tiny, glowing stone caught in the cloud. "Here it is," squeaked Squeaky, holding it up proudly. The comet's eyes brightened. "Oh, thank you," As soon as the stone was back in place, the comet sang a soft, beautiful melody. Its voice rippled across the stars, filling the night sky with music. Even the planet swayed gently to the tune. Squeaky clapped his little paws in delight. Now that's better. The comet grinned and promised to sing an extra song, just for Squeaky every night. Back in his pod, Squeaky curled up with a smile, listening to the comet's lullaby until his eyes fluttered shut. And so, the galaxy drifted off to sleep to the sweetest song of all. Episode 4, The Rainbow Nebula. Squeaky the squirrel was chasing floating acorn-shaped bubbles when he noticed something unusual in the distance. The Rainbow Nebula, a magical cloud that painted the skies with colors, looked pale and gray. That's not right. Squeak Squeaky. Where did all the colors go? He zoomed closer, and the nebula whispered in a tired voice, I've run out of colors. Without them, the skies will stay dull and sleepy. Squeaky's tail puffed up. Don't worry, I'll gather new colors for you. With a whoosh, he soared into the galaxy. First, he zipped past a blue planet covered in shimmering oceans. He scooped up a splash of starlight blue in his nut jar. Next, he soared near a fiery red volcano, or a rocky moon. He caught sparks of flame orange as they floated into space. Then he slid through Saturn's sparkling rings, where he found dust that glittered in a soft golden yellow. Finally, he bounced gently through a field of purple starflowers, tucking a few petals into his jar for twilight purple. When he returned, Squeaky opened the jar and let the colors swirl back into the Rainbow Nebula. Slowly, the gray faded, and brilliant ribbons of blue, orange, yellow, and purple spread across the sky. Oh, thank you, Squeaky, said the nebula, glowing brightly. Now the galaxy will shine beautifully again. Squeaky watched as the colors danced and painted glowing rainbows across the stars. It was so bright and cheerful, it made him giggle. He waved goodbye and floated back to his pod, where the new rainbow lights shimmered softly through his window. Curling up with his blanket, Squeaky yawned. What a colorful adventure! And he drifted off to sleep beneath the most magical night sky he had ever seen. Episode 5, The Sleepy Planet. One night, as Squeaky the squirrel was snacking on a crunchy space nut, he heard a big yawn echoing through the galaxy. He looked around and saw a small, round planet blinking its tired eyes. Oh, I can't fall asleep, the planet moaned. I've tried closing my craters, counting moons, even wrapping myself in stardust, but I'm still wide awake. Squeaky floated closer and patted the planet gently. Don't worry, I know a few tricks that help me sleep. First, he suggested, try counting stars. The planet began, 1, 2, 3, but the stars giggled and zoomed around, making the count impossible. Squeaky said, tapping his chin. Maybe a lullaby will help. He pulled out a tiny space flute and played a soft, twinkly tune. The planet swayed a little, but still kept its eyes wide open. Then Squeaky had an idea. What if I tuck you in? He gathered fluffy bits of cosmic cloud and wrapped them gently around the planet, like a big blanket. The planet snuggled down, feeling cozy at last. Better? Asked Squeaky. The planet gave one more yawn. Much better. Thank you, little squirrel. And slowly, its eyes closed, craters relaxed, and it drifted into a peaceful slumber. Squeaky smiled, gave the planet a quiet pat, and whispered, sweet dreams. As he floated back to his pod, the galaxy grew calm and quiet, with the only sound being the soft snores of the sleepy planet. Squeaky curled up under his blanket and thought, what a restful adventure. Then he, too, drifted into dreams.
Episode 6, The Moon's Missing Cheese. One quiet night in space, Squeaky the squirrel was just settling into his acorn-shaped pod when he heard a low, rumbly grumble. At first he thought it was his stomach, but then, grumble, grumble, it came again, echoing across the stars. Looking out his window, Squeaky saw the moon frowning. Oh dear, the moon sighed, rubbing its round belly. I can't find my midnight snack. A big wedge of moon cheese has floated away. Squeaky gasped. Don't worry, Moon. I'll find it for you. Strapping on his rocket pack, Squeaky zipped into the starry night. He soared over craters, looped around satellites, and peeked behind sleepy space clouds. But no cheese. Then he spotted something unusual, a trail of tiny glowing crumbs drifting through space. "Aha!" squeaked Squeaky. "A cheesy trail?" He followed the crumbs past a group of twinkling stars until he reached a pair of playful space mice, nibbling happily on the wedge of moon cheese. Squeaky puffed out his chest. "That cheese belongs to the moon." "He's hungry!" The space mice's whiskers twitched. "Oh, we didn't know. We're sorry, we just love cheese so much." Squeaky thought for a moment, then grinned. "How about this? You bring the cheese back and I'll share some of my crunchy space nuts with you." The mice squeaked with delight. Together they carried the big wedge back to the moon. "Oh, thank you, Squeaky," said the moon, taking a happy bite. "And thank you, little mice." Everyone shared a midnight feast. Moon cheese for the moon, space nuts for the mice, and a shiny starberry pie that Squeaky had saved for dessert. With full bellies and happy hearts, the moon glowed brighter than ever, casting a gentle silver light across the galaxy. Squeaky floated back to his pod, curled up in his blanket, and whispered with a yawn, "What a cheesy adventure." And soon he was fast asleep while the moon smiled down at him, perfectly full and content.
Episode 7. Squeaky Squirrel and the Star Garden. One night, as Squeaky floated outside his cozy acorn pod, he noticed a trail of glittering sparkles drifting through the galaxy. They shimmered like breadcrumbs made of starlight. His whiskers twitched with curiosity. Where could this lead? He wondered, and with a flick of his rocket pack, he zipped after the trail. The sparkles guided him to something wondrous, a golden arch made entirely of stardust. It shimmered like a doorway to a dream. Squeaky took a deep breath, stepped through, and gasped. On the other side was a hidden star garden. Flowers bloomed with glowing petals, vines twinkled like constellations, and tiny star butterflies floated gracefully in the air. In the middle of the garden stood a gentle figure made of pure starlight. They smiled at Squeaky and said, "Welcome, little traveler. I am the Star Gardener. These blossoms are the dreams of the universe. Would you like to help me tend them?" Squeaky's tail flicked with excitement. "Yes, please," he chirped. Together, they planted seeds shaped like tiny wishes. Squeaky sprinkled stardust soil, and whoosh! The seeds grew instantly into glowing flowers. Each blossom whispered softly, carrying the dreams of faraway beings, the laughter of children, the songs of birds, and lullabies sung on distant planets. When their work was done, the Star Gardener knelt down and handed Squeaky a small pot. Inside grew a single glowing starflower. "Plant this near your pod," they said. "Its light will remind you that you, too, help dreams grow." Squeaky held the pot close, his heart glowing as brightly as the flower. He thanked the gardener and floated home. Back in his acorn pod, he placed the flower by his window. Its soft glow lit up the pod with a cozy light. Curling into his blanket, Squeaky whispered sleepily, "Even the smallest pause can help the universe shine." And with that, he drifted into a peaceful, starry sleep. Episode 8. Squeaky the Squirrel and the Dream Comet. It was a quiet night in space when Squeaky spotted something unusual, a glowing comet streaking across the stars. But this was no ordinary comet. It shimmered with colors of silver, blue, and gold, and it seemed to hum softly, like it was singing a lullaby. Curious, Squeaky zipped after it with his rocket pack. The comet wasn't racing away. Instead, it drifted gently, as if waiting for him. "Hello, little squirrel." The comet's voice rang like a song. "I am the Dream Comet. I carry dreams across the universe. Would you like to ride with me?" Squeaky's eyes sparkled. "A comet ride? Yes, please." He hopped aboard, and the comet soared, faster than any rocket he had ever flown. Together, they sailed past shimmering galaxies, glowing star clusters, and planets shaped like lanterns. Trails of dream dust swirled behind them, sprinkling the skies with light. As they flew, Squeaky peeked into the dream dust. He saw children on Earth, snuggling into bed, kittens chasing butterflies in dream meadows, and whole worlds drifting peacefully into sleep. "Every dream I carry helps the universe rest," said the comet gently. At last, the comet slowed and brought Squeaky back to his little acorn pod. Before he hopped off, the comet whispered, "Thank you for sharing the stars with me. Take a piece of dream dust. It will keep your nights full of wonder. Squeaky tucked the tiny glowing dust into his pouch and smiled. Thank you, Dream Comet. I'll never forget this ride. Back in his pod, he sprinkled the dust by his window. It sparkled softly, filling the pod with warmth and calm. Curling into his blanket, Squeaky whispered with a sleepy grin. Every night is an adventure, and every dream is a gift. And with that, the little space squirrel drifted into his most magical sleep yet, dreaming as the comet sailed on to bring sweet dreams to others.